Welcome back Tech Friends, my name's Gareth, this is Tech Check. Today we're checking out the CPS or PC Cooler YN1000. It's an ATX 3.1 PCIE Gen 5.1 1000 watt power supply. We're going to unbox it, we're going to go through the benefits of ATX 3.1, go through this particular model itself, showcase a few of the other options that you might have in this price category, as well as go through all of the connections as well. So if you're in the marketplace for a new PSU or upgrading your existing PSU, this might be the one that you can look at. Let's check it out. So straight off the bat, this one is ticking all of the actual boxes here, guys. Just to give you the actual model number, it's the P5YN1000-G1F. It's an ATX 3.1, fully modular. Really nice value proposition here, guys. So let's open it up. So we get our power plug, we get a user manual, we get some zip ties and our 4 screws. Well, that's a nice little addition. We actually get a PSU tester here as well. We get a whole plethora of cables which we're going to go through, and then we get our PSU itself. Let's have a look at it. And that is everything that we get inside our YN1000. So on first inspection here, it's a relatively nice and good looking PSU. The design elements at the top to allow this 135mm fluid dynamic bearing to breathe is really nice. It carries through some of the design elements on their other products as well. On the back here, we have our main power switch, and we also have a hybrid mode here, so we can turn eco on or off. We've got our power input, which is there. And on the back, it clearly identifies where all our cables can actually be inputted, identifying the most important one, the 12 volt 2x6 connector in orange here. Relatively nice, guys. I'll put the dimensions on the actual screen, but it's 150 by 150 by 86. Not large for a 1000 watt power supply. Dependent on where you're located, obviously this one's an American plug. I'm located here in the UK, so if I was wanting to use this particular PSU, I would want to obviously change this kettle lead to a UK plug, so just bear that in mind. So one of the main reasons, guys, why most people are looking at upgrading their power supplies are generally if you're building a new system, or maybe you've changed your graphics card and you require a little bit more power. And ultimately, we've all heard the saga about ATX3 with the high voltage power cables catching fire, the user errors and all of that kind of stuff. So ATX 3.1 is essentially a much safer and a much more efficient power delivery than ATX 3 was. This 12 volt 2x6 connectors clearly highlighted a different colour to all the rest, and that's to make sure that you're actually pushing these cables in all of the way. This is the new 2x6 cable, which is a 12 volt cable. Now I'm going to say straight off the bat, I think the cable quality is really nice and flexible as well. Now you can obviously see this other cable which is dangling down here. I do not like that at all. Now that being said, nothing that 2 zip ties couldn't solve. Very simple and easily. You could literally just pop a little bit of black insulation tape around it, anything you want, and you would never actually see that particular cable there. But I don't know why that couldn't be done at factory, in all honesty. The really good thing with ATX 3.1 is you get a lot more bend in the cable, and the other major thing is the 4 sense pins at the top here are a lot shorter than what they previously were. What that means is if you're not connecting that correctly to your GPU and your GPU is asking for power, then it won't actually provide any power whatsoever. So ultimately it needs to be pushed in all the way for this to actually give any power to the actual GPU, which I think should have been implemented from day dot with ATX 3.0, to be honest. So I like the fact we've managed to get rid of 2, 3, 4 cables, PCIe cables at times, to one singular cable. I do think it offers less chance to customize, but at the same time, I'm more interested in making sure that we're not having any health hazards or fire hazards and things like that. These can sometimes pull up to 600 watt, guys, so it's very, very important that they're plugged in all the way. To give you an example of that, we can take our high voltage power cable and you can actually push it in, and then you get some resistance, and then you have to physically click it into place all the way, and now it's not going anywhere. You can clearly see there that that is pushed all the way in. That connector on the back is straight and it isn't coming out, and it's vitally important that the same happens on your new graphics card as well. So in terms of cables, we have our standard 24 pin, and again, this is a lot more flexible than most providers here. They seem to be a lot nicer to work with. Again, they are flat cables. Some people love that, some people don't. Some people love braided cables, some people don't. Rather than just having one cable, you'll see here we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 separate cables. You normally only see that much of the actual cable anyway. These two ends go into our PSU and this one goes into our motherboard, but it's good just to showcase these cables so you know what to expect if you are to go out and purchase this. And this cable is 55 centimeters long. Onto our EPS cable, and clearly identifies CPU and PSU, so you can't get that mixed up. This side actually splits. So let's say that you've got an 8 plus a 4 pin connector. You can actually detach this side. So you've got an 8 pin and a 4 pin, or you then push them together and then it holds together as an 8 pin cable. This is our EPS cable, 65 centimeters in length, and we actually get 2 of these cables. So if you've got 2 8 pins, you've got it sorted there as well. We've already touched on our 12 volt 2x6 cable. Again, doesn't really matter, guys, which side that you plug these into your PSU or to your graphics card. Nice to see that they've actually given us 65 centimeter cable for our 12 volt 2x6 connector, just in case we're working in some larger cases, or you haven't got the actual cutout where you want it to actually go. You can feed it through a different part of the case, but to have a little longer cable is always nice. On to our PCIe cables, and with the YN1000 we also get 3 8 pin to 6 plus 2 pins. So regardless of whether you're rocking a 30 series that requires 3 8 pins, or whether you've got a 40 series, or whether you've got a 50 series, you've got all of the actual power connectors that you're going to require in order to get your build up and going. One side says PSU and the other side says PCIe, which goes into our actual graphics card. Again, these can be split down if you wanted to do that. So this side will pin off. So you've got 6 plus 2 making our 8 pin, and on the other side it's just an 8 pin. And these are relatively nice cables, guys. There's no pigtails coming off it, and it's quite nice aesthetically. 3 of those cables, and they come in 50 centimeters as well. And that brings us on to our last 3 cables, and these 3 cables are all identical. This is an 81 centimeter SATA and Molex cable here, guys. So if you've got any external 2.5 inch SSDs or 3.5 inch external hard drives, or you may be wanting to power any fan hubs or something like that, then this is the cable that's going to obviously do that. We comes with 3 SATA connectors and 1 Molex connector on each cable. So you've got 9 SATA connectors and 3 Molex connections. That's powered into the back of our PSU via this 6-pin cable which is here. That is all our plethora of cables which are there. The fact that it's fully modular, guys, is a massive benefit, reducing the amount of cable clutter, increasing airflow through your actual case is an added benefit, and the fact that any unwanted weight that you don't need in your case is always better as well. That would be a typical setup there, guys. Our 24 pin, our external SSDs or any fan hubs or anything like that, an 8 pin for our CPU, and our 12 volt 2x6 connector for our graphics card. Overall, guys, I think the most important thing is this is a 1000 watt power supply. Other things that feature with CPS PC Cooler is they use all electrolytic Japanese capacitors, so you're actually getting some real good quality here. The fact that it's gold standard in terms of cybernetics score and 80 plus gold rated as well. And even better, guys, the fact that they're giving you a 10-year warranty for this particular product means that it's going to last a long time. So I always say, if you can, try and get the most expensive power supply that you can afford that's in keeping with the rest of your budget. It means that you're going to get much more efficient power delivery. It's going to protect a lot of the components that's actually in your build, and ultimately it's a product that's going to feature in not only one build but might last and outlast many different upgrades without having to actually purchase another PSU. So I think the nice addition of having that on-off eco mode is nice. The fact that it's got a larger 135mm fan in there is going to keep all of the components inside a little more cooler and a little quieter at the same time. So overall, I don't think there's a lot to dislike here. The most important thing is obviously price, and that's where I think brands like CPS and PC Cooler really shine, guys, because in the US this retails at £139.99, and in the UK, if we convert that, it's about £107, which for a PSU, especially being ATX 3.1 PCIE Gen 5.1 at 1000 watts, that's a pretty good bargain, in all honesty. A lot of its competitors are ranging at around the £150–140 mark here, so around $170. So I think that's a pretty good price for a pretty good product. Now, CPS and PC Cooler do have a whole host of different ranges and models, ranging from 500 watts all the way through to 1500 watts, and I'll cycle through them on the screen so you can have a quick look at them. But I've been really impressed with the products that CPS and PC Cooler have sent me over the last couple of weeks. Good value, good performance, in all honesty, with the added benefit of longevity. I don't think you can go wrong. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Do you have a 750, 850 or 1000 plus watt power supply from CPS already? If you do, let the other viewers know. Has it lasted? Does it make any noises? Has it conked out on you? Let people know. I think from my perspective, I've been pretty satisfied with regards to how they've actually performed. If you haven't seen the video where I looked at the DT360 or the air cooler that they sent out, the RT500TC, then check that out. I'll leave that up there for you to have a quick look at. But I want to say a massive thank you to CPS for sending these out for review. I am going to be using this in a build over the next couple of weeks, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Thanks for watching, guys. If you do have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. I get back to every single one, and I'll see you in the next one.